Relationship issues?
Relationship talk
On 702.
So it's adult radio this hour, and we're discussing how to find and boost your sexual confidence. Of all the things that affect our sexual satisfaction, the most important element is sexual confidence, isn't it? Sexual confidence plays a vital role in intimacy, in making it easier to connect with your partner. It influences how you express your desires, how you set boundaries and experience pleasure. However, many factors can affect your level of sexual confidence, whether it's your upbringing, societal messages, personal experiences, appearance, sexual dysfunctions like premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction, and of course, we are often told by sexologists how sex is a way for you and your partner to feel closer and more connected. But the lack of confidence is something that can block that intimacy. It can block that connection. And that's why it's important to focus on building that, right? Working on building up that confidence in bed, because it can help you get more satisfaction from intimacy and will also bring you and your partner closer together. And a huge part of developing even your sexual confidence is understanding what you enjoy sexually, from your sexual orientation to the type of sex that you find most pleasurable. So if you have low sexual confidence, get in touch with us. Maybe our guests here can give you some tips on where you start building up that confidence. And you can maybe share with us what's affecting your sexual performance, right? What's tanking your sexual confidence, and how have you overcome low sexual confidence? How do you boost your sexual confidence when it's low? Give us a call on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Nu Davidson is a sex educator and couples intimacy coach who's going to be guiding us through this conversation. Nu, it's been a while. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for making time. Good morning.
Hey, Clement. It's so good to be back. It has been a while. Excellent to be back on with you guys.
Let's start with just defining sexual confidence. I've tried to give in my own limited understanding, but how do we define sexual confidence? What is it and what is it not?
Well, firstly, I think that your intro was actually very comprehensive. So well done on that. But let's look at really the definition of sexual confidence. And when we talk about sexual confidence, we're referring to the individual's sense of self-assurance and comfort in their sexual experiences, their desire and their identity. It encompasses feeling positive about one's body, communicating with partners, and understanding one's sexual preferences. When we look at the importance of sexual confidence, it helps to improve your relationships, enhances of sexual pleasure, as well as helps with mental health. There are so many factors that influence sexual confidence. And really when we look at that, and I'm sure we're going to go through that in the rest of the conversations that we're about to have, we want to focus on how do we enhance our sexual confidence. When we look at it, how it improves our relationships, higher sexual confidence can lead to better communication. And we always say communication is lubrication. It's the way and foundation to a successful, healthier, more satisfying relationship. Enhancement of your sexual pleasure is feeling confident in, when you feel confident, it can increase your enjoyment and satisfaction during your sexual experiences, as well as with your mental health. When we think about mental health, it plays an enormous role in sexual confidence. Confidence is in one sexuality can reduce anxiety and contribute to your overall well-being, fostering a positive self-image. Self-image plays an enormous role in sexual self-confidence. Body image, your sex education, past experiences, culture, religion, upbringing, all of these things you mentioned in your intro, all of these come into play with how we cultivate our sexual confidence and how we build on our sexual confidence.
And what is the difference, though, Nu, between, because I think sometimes we can use the words interchangeably and confuse them, the difference between sexual confidence from, sexual experience or sexual skill, because some people will say, but I'm so good at this. as an activity for me, or as an experience. But is that the same as just having the confidence?
So I think that's a great question, because when we look at it, if you move with something, if you move into something with confidence, it's being sure of yourself that you're enjoying it. Now, that doesn't necessarily say that the person that you're engaging in the sexual experience with is having the same experience. So just because you're confident in your abilities to do something doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at it for the other person. So yes, it is. Your sexual confidence is how you feel in yourself, in your experience. But the communication becomes crucial in having the confidence to check in with your partner, having the confidence to, if you feel like really confident at doing something, it's also making sure that it is reciprocated with the partner, that you are checking in with them. Are they enjoying it as much as you do? Because every human being is unique and we all have different sexual preferences. So what your preference is might not be the same as your partner's preference. So really, we kind of separate the experience from sexual confidence. Sexual confidence is having a clear understanding of what you like, being able to communicate that, and move confidently in it. If that makes sense.
Okay. What are some of the biggest factors that can impact on a person's sexual confidence? I know, when already people on the WhatsApp line, and I'll read this soon, they're talking about body image, for instance, self-esteem, or even past sexual experiences that can shape that confidence.
Absolutely. So when we look at influencing factors to our self-confidence, there's a bucket load, right? It is body image. When we think about body image, how individuals perceive their appearance can significantly impact their sexual confidence. Why? Because we are sometimes in our heads in a sexual experience and we're thinking, how do I look? Can he see my dimples? Can he see my cellulite? Or am I moving with a thrust that feels good? And we start to think of, like, is my belly jiggling? What angle am I being lit up in? And we start to not feel like comfortable in our body. It's quite difficult to signal to your brain to drop in and enjoy the pleasure when your body is going, okay, but don't look at me, but hold, okay, but hang on. And you're kind of giving a little bit of a mixed signal. So body image, massive impact on sexual confidence. And that also goes hand in hand with, of course, body dysmorphia, which a lot of people do suffer from when you have a completely different viewpoint on what your body looks like. If we look at past experiences, positive experiences can boost your confidence, whereas negative sexual experiences can create insecurity, discomfort, triggers, all of these things that come with past experience. Sex education, a massive one. Understanding your sexual health, anatomy, the consensual practices that can enhance confidence, how to even communicate clearly to the people that you're engaging in sexually. When we look at culture, religion, family influence, information that we have, also medical. Are we going through any medical difficulties? Are we suffering from vaginal dryness, erectile dysfunction? There's a whole host of different things that come into play with sexual confidence. And I think what's important is being aware of these things and seeing how they're impacting your sexual confidence and seeing how can you nurture that. Once you're aware of it, you can start to shape it. You can start to address it. You can get professional guidance on it. Having a therapist or someone you can consult to professionally can help give you a better understanding of what you're going through and give you a tailored approach in how you can find your sexual confidence.
All right, 16 minutes now. After 11 o'clock, I've got some really wonderful questions coming through from our listeners. You can also interact and join this conversation on 011-883-0702. I'll start with your calls and WhatsApps after the break.
Relationship issues,
Relationship Talk
on 702.
19 minutes after 11 o'clock, we're talking about sexual confidence this morning on our relationship and sex feature. And we're asking you if you have low sexual confidence and what do you think is the reason behind that? What is affecting your sexual performance and tanking that sexual confidence? And how have you overcome low sexual confidence, if that's something you've managed to overcome. Give us a call on 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApp's on 0727021702. Nu, I've got a question here. Well, in fact, the first one is a statement from Anonymous who says, for me, I have to say, Clement, it's the size of my penis. In fact, we've had this conversation before on the show about people who lose confidence because they are not happy with maybe the size of your penis, so because of how your own private part is. There's certain things you feel insecure about. Is that something new that can also contribute towards someone having low, sexual confidence?
Absolutely. I mean, that falls right into the body image, right? Whereby we have certain societal structures that and scripts that we believe in that then impact how we see our bodies, right? Because we've generally modeled it on mainstream media's pornography, and we think that that's how it's supposed to look. But every human being is unique. Penis size comes up a lot. And why? Because we think that bigger is better. Absolutely not the case. I mean, if we look at even the depth of a vagina, the depth of a vagina goes from 4 centimeters unaroused up to 8 centimeters aroused and slightly bigger. But really, we're looking at only penetration from that aspect. If we take that into pleasure, penis size is almost irrelevant. Why? Because the clitoris is what gives pleasure. So that is focusing on the clitoris, which is the button at the top, kind of, the little bean that we see. But the clitoris actually runs all the way down the labia minora and majora, which are the lips. So your inner and outer lips, it's engorged on the behind the lips. So when it's engorged, that's why the lips get puffy. That entire premise there, that entire area is the, when engorged, that is the clitoris. That's where the stimulation, it's all frontal. Why are we needing to hit the back of the cervix? I don't understand. It's pleasurable for some, but penis size, it's really about your skills, and figuring out what feels pleasurable to the person you're wanting to pleasure and what feels pleasurable to you. You can work with any size penis in multiple different ways. You can also have, you can have pleasure and an orgasm without even having an erect penis. Which a lot of people don't know. So absolutely, thank you to that caller for bringing that forward to us, because there is, I'm sure, many listeners who can relate to that. Penis size gets far too much airtime, if you ask me.
Yeah, true. And maybe the follow-up question to that is, how do you, what's your advice for maybe someone who's listening to us who says, well, yeah, my partner, I can see that, my partner is losing a bit of confidence because of that, because maybe the partner feels insecure about the size of their penis, and maybe this person, says, I want to actually help them gain that confidence and to know that I am actually satisfied. What's your advice for them?
Well, Clement, my favorite saying of all, communication. It's looking at communicating to that partner that you are satisfied, that you love their penis the way that it is. Validate them, see them, reassure them. Let them know when you are enjoying something. Give them all the cues, verbally, non-verbally. It's saying how much you enjoy it. And I don't just mean by saying it verbally, that's also fantastic, but indicate with your physicality of leaning your hips towards them, letting them know, yes, that feels amazing over there. Let's focus on this. I really enjoy this, when you do it like that. It's communication. Offer them feedback, validation, and make them feel seen and appreciated for exactly as they are.
And then let's go to another message on the WhatsApp line. Says, hi Clement, I'm 4 months pregnant and I've lost interest in sex. Please ask your guest, what can I do to get that fire back? I'm worried my partner will end up getting it somewhere. That's a question there from Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous, for that question. What you're going through physiologically in your body as you are building a whole human being inside your body is a whole cocktail of different hormones. So be compassionate and patient with yourself as you're doing something that truly is a miracle. You're building a human being. So yes, there are going to be a whole host of different changes that your body is going to go through in all the different phases of your pregnancy and postpartum, which is post-pregnancy. You will also go through a multitude of different phases in your libido and your drive and your desire and how you feel. Why? Because you are going through a hormonal cocktail tornado right now. Your body is focusing on its primary focus at this moment is building a beautiful, healthy baby. So for one, give yourself the compassion and, communicate this to your partner. I would say letting your partner know, checking in with them. Are they dissatisfied? Let them know where you're at. Hey, I've kind of lost a bit of drive at the moment. This is where I'm at. I'm a little bit fearful. I'm feeling slightly insecure that you might be looking elsewhere. It's communicating so that they know where you're at as well and they can reassure you. I think also reframe sex. When we think about sex, we think P and V, penis and vagina, right? Penis and vagina, ejaculation, the end. High five. Really, we got to zoom out, especially when we're looking at different phases through life changes, whether that be through pregnancy, menopause, erectile difficulties. We reframe what sex looks like always. I come back to the drawing board with it. Just if you are not feeling up to having penetrative sex with your partner, what else is on the menu? Maybe it's a naked cuddle. Maybe it's a massage. Generally, what people are looking for when they're initiating sex, there's a reason. It's connection. It's closeness. It's release. So get a little bit more curious as to what are you looking toward to have that intimate interaction with your partner, and ask them, if you're not in the mood for penetrative sex, that's fine. You just, offer something alternative. I don't feel like that today, but how about a blowjob? Or how about I give you a back massage? Or how about we just lay and cuddle today? It's reframing what intimacy looks like. I think we make the assumption it has to be P and V, but it doesn't. It can be whatever works for the both of you that gets you the connection and intimacy that you're looking for.
Yeah. Someone else on Twitter says, Clement, please can you ask Nu then about my own situation? I have had many instances where I've never had an orgasm with my partner. I've never had an orgasm with my partner, and I feel like that is killing his sexual confidence, and I don't know how to communicate it to him that I still enjoy the sex even though I do not have an orgasm, but he always asks about it. And Nu, I know this is something you've addressed before on the show about this, misconception about, women and orgasms, because it's not all women actually who can. Can you just explain that, and how what's your advice for this listener who says, yeah, my partner now feels like he is not satisfying me because I don't reach an orgasm?
Absolutely. Thank you to this listener for calling in and sending this message. I think when we look at orgasm, we put it on a pedestal, and it's the goal. And we only focus on the goal, not as much as we should be focusing on the journey, right? We just like, okay, we have to engage, so we have the orgasm, and that's the only reason we're kind of doing it. We put it on a pedestal, and that's really what we kind of focus on. So I would say knock it off the pedestal, if at all possible, and focus on the journey, the pleasure that you're both experiencing. Validate your partner in the pleasure that you're receiving. Get a little creative together. Right? Get creative in what does that pleasure look like? But on the orgasm front, it's also interesting to look at why is the orgasm going away? Why is it not happening, right? Because anyone with a clitoris can have an orgasm. It's looking at the different styles of stimulation. Are you feeling stimulated enough clitorally? Are you feeling like the pleasure is suited to how you, that would get you to the arousal? Are you able to have an orgasm on your own when you masturbate? And looking at how do you focus on the pleasure that gets your body, that gets the clitoris engorged so that you can reach orgasm, if that is what you're wanting to do, right? Again, I'm not putting orgasm on the pedestal saying that's the only focal point. However, a lot of people who can't orgasm have this looming thing, and I know it's easier to say just take it off the pedestal when actually, oh my gosh, I really want to have that thing that everyone talks about and that's all I want. Then that's okay. It's coming together as a team, looking at the physiological response as to where where is that coming from? Is it hormonal? Is it because you're lacking sensation due to medication side effects? Is it because, now we're having performance anxiety because that's what we're focusing on? Is it that the orgasm disappears when your partner starts saying, okay, are you ready to orgasm? And you're like, oh, wait, damn it, don't say that. It's gone. So really looking at what happens around your orgasm, where does it disappear if it does like start to feel like it's building, and focus on how you can build that pleasure journey together. Bring your partner in on the journey because they want to be a part of it, but they don't want to add the pressure. And a lot of the time, pressure is the exact reason why we can't orgasm. Because the more pressure we put, the more we focus on it, the further away it goes.
Yeah.
So look at the pressure and how you can kind of communicate that. And again, it's an open conversation. Let your partner know where you're at and saying, listen, I'm feeling like a lot of pressure on this orgasm thing. How do we readdress this? How do we look to navigate this together?
It's 11:30.
Relationship issues
Relationship Talk.
on 702.
All right, on our relationship feature this morning, we are talking about low sexual confidence. How do you find and boost your sexual confidence? We're talking to Nu Davidson, who is a sex educator and couples intimacy coach. I want to start with some WhatsApp messages and some calls as well. In fact, let's start with this WhatsApp voice note.
I just hate how my vagina looks because it just feels like it's too big, it's too flappy. So that makes me actually feel so insecure to and want to have sex. However, my sexual attraction is on point. It's just that I avoid sex because, I just think my vagina doesn't look very pretty, which is also funny because usually a man will say, wow, your vagina is amazing because apparently it grips or something. I don't know what it is, but I hate it.
Yeah, this is someone there I knew who says that they hate the way their private parts look and they often try to avoid sex, even though they've been reassured. How do you overcome that? Because it's not like the low confidence is coming from the people you're interacting with, you're having this sexual intimacy with it. It's more internal. It's your own, perception of what your private part looks like.
Yeah, absolutely, Clement. I think the thing is to remember with sexual confidence, it with anything really, it comes from within first. We have to feel it inside in order to have the sexual confidence. And this plays a huge role, again, in body image, So for this listener, it's important to go on a self journey of acceptance, right? Because I think I don't know. This might not agree with everyone, but I don't really go with the premise of body positivity. Everyone must love every part of their bodies. Some parts of your body, it's okay if you just don't love it necessarily. You're not like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. But what I do think is important is we find a way of self-acceptance. And acceptance is really finding peace with the body that you've been gifted, and that knowing that your body is unique. There are no two genitals that look the same on this entire earth. It's the same as your own, every human being looks different. Your fingerprints are different. It's supposed to look different. So the fact that you've got your own unique body, it's getting comfortable and finding acceptance with what that body is. And, and that journey is around finding, whatever brings you to that self-acceptance of your body. It can be looking at other images of vaginas to just know that that yours pretty much fits like with everybody else's and that they're all super unique. Looking at something like the Vagina Museum, they've got a lot of molds whereby they've done a whole bunch of castings of vulvas. So let's just also clarify there. Sorry, when I was saying vagina is everything on the inside. Vulva is everything on the outside. So I'm assuming this listener is referring to their vulva.
Yeah.
So everything that touches the panties is the vulva. So looking at vulva museums, it's called the Vagina Museum, but the Vulva Museum, they've done wonderful castings so that you can go and see. There's an entire wall of genitals done by casting. And it's great just to go and see the variety and the differences of everybody's genitals. That can also be super self-affirming, doing some what they call yoni gazing, whereby you take a mirror and you sit and, look at your genitals and slowly slowly but surely find acceptance to what it looks like, feeling all the feels when it comes up. I do disclose this can be quite triggering for a lot of people to take a mirror and look at their genitals, although I highly recommend it. Have the awareness that it can be fairly triggering. Emotions can arise in a variety of different ways. But I would encourage that person and anybody listening who feels disconnected or has a part of their body that they don't love, that they don't enjoy the look of, is find whatever works for you to find acceptance. It is what you've been gifted, and this is the only body you have. And, it's really finding appreciation for the fact that it's healthy, that it works, and that it's there for a reason.
Mpo, you're calling us from Bedford View. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. I've got this problem. Thanks for taking my call. I don't know whether it's a problem or what is it called. It makes my husband so uncomfortable. Now, of lately, I become dry. Even if we can do the foreplay, I can do work, but during the activity, I become tired, and we need to spend most of the time masturbating, which I don't have a problem with. But it's just a concern that what makes me be so dry. Maybe it's because I'm reaching 46 years, maybe it's menopause. Maybe if they can advise on that, is it something that I should be worried about or what?
So it's vaginal dryness you experience during sex, and that's beginning to affect your sexual confidence?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mpo, for calling. Nu?
Mpo, thank you so much for that question. There are a few things here. I think thank you for disclosing your age and stage of where you're at. That can definitely be a factor. So there is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to vaginal dryness. There are a whole host of different reasons why we get vaginal dryness. Often the greatest myth is we equate arousal and wetness, but just because you're aroused doesn't necessarily mean you're wet. Sometimes you can be aroused and you can be dry. And that's completely normal, right? When we look at what's happening in our bodies, there are a variety of different reasons to look at. Yes, your age and stage. Are you in perimenopause or going through menopause? Are you on any medications that may be giving you that side effect? Antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, birth control, a whole host of different medications that can sometimes have that side effect. Looking at where you are in your cycle, if you're still having a cycle, it's when your body is low on estrogen, it doesn't produce as much natural lubrication. So that's why sometimes you can have wetness, and sometimes your body struggles to produce the wetness, even though you're aroused. So the answer to that is get a good quality lube, look for a natural water-based lubricant that you can then work with your body's natural ecosystem to help give it that little bit of boost that it may need, to help give you that little bit of comfort. Never ever just grit it and bear with the pain. Penetration of any kind should never ever be painful. So when you feel dry, stop, grab a good lube, make sure you always have that. It's a bedroom essential. And get the lube that works for your body, and you reach for that lubricant. Why? Because that's going to protect your skin from micro tears. It's going to protect the condoms from breaking, and it's going to ensure that you have no pain. So looking at where you are in life, and reassuring your husband that there are many reasons why the vaginal dryness may be happening, and it's just grabbing that tool. Get a good lube. And there you found your solution. Otherwise, if you feel called to investigate further and the dryness is becoming further uncomfortable, please consult to your local GP, as they will then be able to do some tests and see where you are in your menopause journey, if that might be where you're going.
Yeah. And then on the WhatsApp line, Katsani says, Clement, good morning. I have not had sex, oral and penetrative, or kissed anyone for 10 years now. I know how I survived. Well, I think maybe you mean I don't know how I survived. I'm a gay professional male in the corporate space. There is quite a block I get when it comes to being sexual. I generally am a confident guy, but when it comes to being hit on, I tend to stiffen up. I don't know why I become standoffish. A part of it I know is that I expect people to approach me and be bold about it, like fight for me. So archaic, I know, but maybe that is something I need help with in terms of boosting my confidence. Another one says, Clement, anonymous here. I don't feel any sexual confidence with my girlfriend, but confident with other ladies. Low sex drive with her and high sex drive with others. What might be the problem here? Nu?
Okay, so firstly, to the first caller with regards to not to abstaining for 10 years, whether that has been by choice or not. I would advocate for that individual to seek professional guidance, because I think when we really start looking at cultural outside structures, societal standards of what we've scripted out for us, it's a lot more layered, right? So if there could be triggers happening, there could be things that are deeply rooted in why this individual stiffens up and almost has a trigger response when someone wants to initiate. So I would strongly advise, and there is absolutely, no shame in seeking a professional's guidance. They're there, they've qualified, they offer you a tailored version of how to understand why you're reacting in the way that you are and help build you to where you want to go. So I would strongly advise some places that you can look out for some great professionals, if I may, on this line, is to look at something like My Sexual Health. They have an array of different multidisciplinary sexual health professionals that you can go and consult to that will then be able to offer you some guidance on your journey of self-acceptance and finding your self-confidence. Then to the second caller with regards to having low desire for the girlfriend as well, and then having higher for others. It's really taking a deep dive on why that's happening. And what is it about the girlfriend that is feeling like it's taking the desire away? Sometimes when it comes to our spouses, we lose desire because we lose curiosity. Right? They come hand in hand. Esther Perel, famous sexologist overseas, she nails this and, speaks about this a lot, is sexual when you have curiosity, you have to have curiosity in order to have desire. Because when we have, no curiosity, that's when we get into mundane, safe, same structured, routine behaviors. We take out the desire because there's no adrenaline coming with it. There's no excitement. There's no I know, I can predict exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen and how are they going to react. And it's a 3-step process. It gets a little bit kind of, mundane and structural when it comes to our partners. We talk about admin. We don't talk about other. There's no excitement. So really looking at the relationship with your girlfriend would be a great starting point in how do you harness the relationship side of things so that you can reroute and ignite that desire.
Yeah, 12 minutes now before 12 o'clock. We'll come back with more of your calls and WhatsApps.
We want to hear what you have to say. Email contact@702.co.za and share your ideas and comments so we can deliver more of what matters to you. 702 listens. Let's walk the talk. Relationship issues? Relationship talk on 702.
9 minutes before 12 o'clock. Let's continue and wrap up with more of your questions, some inputs as well coming through on the WhatsApp line around this conversation about sexual confidence. Is it low? Why do you think it has been low? And maybe for you found ways to overcome that low sexual confidence. Share that with us. On the WhatsApp line, a message here. Nu says, Clement, can I be anonymous, please? I gained a lot of weight when I was pregnant, and then I was diagnosed with PCOS, and I have umkhaba that I never had before. So my sexual confidence is extremely low, and I am married. That's a message from Anonymous. And you did earlier on speak just about body image and Nu and how that can affect sexual confidence. Another one says, good morning, Clement and Nu. I have a small penis, but I do manage to make my woman reach an orgasm every time we make love. I guess size doesn't matter because I've never experienced any low self-esteem as a result of that. Another one says, Clement, I'm a 49-year-old woman and I've lost my sexual drive. I'm in a loving relationship and I love my husband very much, but this makes me feel less than. I just don't know what to do. And the last one here says, morning, Clement and your guest. My question is, during intercourse, I come too early. which is making my partner kind of feel dissatisfied, and I end up losing sexual confidence. We got various advice out there suggesting that, if you drink ginger, moringa herbs, and other remedies, that could help. My question is, what one must do to strengthen that part of lasting long and gaining confidence? Nu?
Okay, thank you so much to all of these fantastic callers who have sent us these wonderful messages. To the first person who spoke about postpartum gaining weight and then being diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And that has had a massive impact in low self-confidence and low sexual confidence. Let's normalize that. There's a lot happening for this individual. You've just built an entire beautiful human being, which I think is an absolute miracle. So give yourself the grace and space to also transition into the next and new phase as you kind of move through that, whether that is your first, second, third, however many children. It's acknowledging that your body's gone through significant changes. Looking at your PCOS, please do definitely go and seek guidance from your gynecologist. Let them know that you've lost sexual desire. Let them know where you're at with that. There are medications and there are treatment options for PCOS, and that will also have a very direct impact into your weight. So PCOS can be very linked to weight gain. So please do look at that and consult to your gynecologist or your GP about where you're at with that, so you can get the support that you deserve. Communicating where you're at, most importantly, to your spouse is very high. I really do highly recommend that. Your spouse needs to know where you are mentally, physically, and what you're going through, so that they know how best to support you, so you guys can find your journey to what it is you're looking for. To the second caller about being able, having a small penis and being able to give people orgasms. Hallelujah. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing that wonderful news with us. And I just think that's just absolutely fantastic. Yes. Penis size does not matter. It's how you use it. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Also to the person who called in who was 49 and has lost all sexual drive. Quite common at that age gap. At that age group, please do consult to your GP so that you can kind of do a little bit of blood work and assess where your hormones are at. Are you perimenopausal? Are you menopausal? Is this due to a medication side effect? Look at where you are, on your menopause journey. I don't think we give enough light and information and education around menopause and the impacts of menopause. It's massive. So please go and investigate where that's coming from. Especially if it is all of a sudden, you really want to kind of go and investigate what's happening in your body so you can best support your body physically as well as mentally and emotionally, of course. Then looking at the intercourse of somebody coming too early and taking all of the ginger and moringa and all the wonderful herbs. So you know what? Try the herbs. Absolutely. I'm all about the non-conventional medicine. So give it a bash if it's obviously safe and you move with caution and you do a little bit of homework on what you're taking. Looking at coming too early and how you delay that, I would recommend that you slow it down. Slow it right down. We rush to intercourse. We rush to penetration far too quickly sometimes. So slow it all the way down. Pleasure your partner for the first portion. Make sure they're getting all the attention and pleasure in the beginning so that for you're building them up so that they, when it kind of the tables switch, you can then look at yourself and then you'll find that you're kind of on a similar par to come around the same time to be climaxing. So look at slowing it right down. Everything, slow it right down, and that can really help.
Amazing. Nu Davidson, thank you so much as always for guiding us through this chat. She's a sex educator.